be there when they crown him Lord of Lords. I wish I had 10,000 tongues just to thank you. If I were Chinese, I'd say, oh dear. If I were Danish, I'd say, mangatakt. If I were Italian, I'd say, grazia. If I were Hebrew, I'd say, toda rabba. If I were Greek, I would say, eucharisto.
When Rosa Parks passed away, Charles was invited to do the prayer. And at the end of the prayer, he's thanking her for all that she'd done. And he does the thank yous in about 30 different languages. From the moment he was 3, he would go to church, he'd sit right on the front pew, and he would come home and he would preach the sermon that he heard the pastor preach. And so he would go to the windowsill and preach, and he'd pound on, and the woman downstairs, she knocked on the door, she said, "Tell him he can preach, but please don't pound."
For 13 years, I had the privilege of being close to him in the pulpit, and he had a unique way of doing that, a unique pattern, a unique rhythm. I called it kind of the Charles Adams style. I've seen many try to duplicate it, but they have failed. It was just wonderful and always exciting being in his presence.
I first encountered Pastor Adams, actually it was on radio, and I was in my car and he was speaking because he had become the president of the NAACP. And then once I went to his church and heard him preach a sermon, then that just sold me. I became a member of Hartford and have been a member since then.
Our mother was the church pianist where we attended church, and she also directed a choir. So as infants, probably in the womb, we went to choir rehearsals and church services. Charles was quite a tenor. He was, at the time, the first and only Black singer in the University of Michigan Male Glee Club. When he graduated from Michigan, he went to Harvard Divinity School. He again joined the music program. Music has followed him all the way through his theological career.
He had a kind of a contagious desire for perfection.
Whatever he says, he follows through on it. And he's a giving person.
I admired always the bigness of his vision. Charles never thought small. Charles and Brazil Denard became good friends. Also, Robert Harris said, we need a classical roots. We need to expose the community to the many contributions of Black classical musicians. And so Charles supported that and made Hartford a partner in that from the very beginning.
Your legacy and your love for music will live on.